In the world of Formula One, the implementation of the cost cap sparks intense competition and financial scrutiny. The FIA refutes claims of cost cap breaches by top teams while investigating clever accounting practices. As the pressure mounts, teams like Alpine and Williams advocate for more flexibility in capital expenditure to enhance competitiveness. Indeed, the cost cap has drawn attention to top teams like Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, and Aston Martin. Amid rumours and discussions, the FIA's commitment to transparency ensures fairness and maintains the racing's edge. Let's delve deeper into this. The FIA has refuted claims that two Formula One teams might have breached the cost cap during the 2022 season, deeming such suggestions as baseless. Implemented in 2021, the cost cap serves as a measure to control excessive spending by top teams and bridge the gap between the more financially privileged and less privileged teams. A consequence of the cost cap has been a significant increase in the value of F1 teams, as the sport appears to become more financially viable. The effectiveness of this system is rooted in the cost cap and the FIA's capacity to enforce it. Most of the top F1 teams have stated that they have not violated the budget cap and are cooperating with the FIA. In 2021, only Red Bull overspent and faced a sporting penalty, but Williams and Aston Martin were also fined for procedural violations. Recently, there have been reports indicating that the FIA is closely scrutinising the financial activities of top teams like Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston Martin. The focus of the investigation is on possible clever staff accounting practices between their Formula One operations and non-racing subsidiaries. Alongside the ongoing investigation into possible breaches of the budget cap, some Formula One teams, including Alpine and Williams, are advocating for a relaxation of the budget cap rules specifically in the area of capital expenditure. They are urging for more flexibility when it comes to investing in essential facilities like wind tunnels and other infrastructure. The argument put forth by these teams is that by allowing increased spending on critical development tools and facilities, they can enhance their competitiveness and improve performance on the track. They believe that such investments are crucial for the long-term growth and sustainability of their teams. Indeed, rumours about potential breaches of the budget cap surfaced well before the FIA officially disclosed which teams had complied with the imposed financial limit. Speculation and discussions surrounding budget cap compliance are not uncommon in the world of Formula One, as teams and fans alike closely monitor the financial aspects of the sport and its impact on competitiveness. The FIA's thorough examination and eventual confirmation of adherence to the budget cap help maintain fairness and transparency in the competition. It has been observed that more than one team has a separate road car development program running in parallel with its F1 team, focusing on the creation of high-end track day cars. These cars draw heavy inspiration from F1 technology, as their development is not regulated by the FIA since they are considered a separate business. Formula One CEO Stefano Domenicali has urged the sport's governing body, the FIA, to implement sporting sanctions instead of financial penalties for any team found to have breached the 2022 budget cap. Domenicali believes that sporting sanctions would be a more appropriate and effective measure to ensure compliance with the cost cap regulations and maintain fairness and competitiveness in the sport. Domenicali also said in an interview, "I would like the penalty to be sporting in case of infringement. It is something we asked for very clearly. There are 3 regulations to be respected: sporting, technical, and financial. Any infractions must be punished with sporting measures. You can't go in other directions." The FIA, responsible for administering sanctions, is currently reviewing the financial submissions of all 10 Formula One teams for the 2022 season. The aim is to release the findings later this year compared to the previous season, when Red Bull received penalties only after securing both the drivers' and constructors' titles. To strengthen its efforts in monitoring compliance, the FIA has significantly increased the size of its auditing team for this year. The investigation will encompass not only the F1 operations, but also the non-F1 divisions and operations of the manufacturers and companies participating in the championship. Lewis Hamilton, the Mercedes driver, expresses his concern over potential breaches of the 2022 Formula One cost cap by teams, citing the lack of a big punishment for Red Bull's 2021 overspend as a reason for worry. Reports from Italy and Germany suggest that at least 2 F1 teams may have exceeded the cost cap for 2022. As Hamilton said, yes, it's definitely a concern. I mean, it wasn't really a big punishment last time, so there's no real punishment. There'll be people that will probably go for it again and know they're just going to get slapped on the wrist. During the Hungarian Grand Prix weekend, David Croft revealed that it's still too early to ascertain the number of teams that may have breached the cost cap rules. He also said, the whole cost cap auditing process has got a lot more complex than last year because new things have been added that should be included within the cost cap. It's an ever-evolving process, so the FIA absolutely gets it right for the future. As far as I'm aware, the auditors have just finished their process with each of the 10 individual teams, and it's too early for them to say definitively whether teams have breached the cost cap or not. Both Mercedes and Ferrari have firmly denied any involvement in the rumours, suggesting that 3 teams exceeded F1's cost cap in the previous season. They argue that if they had indeed spent more, their performances and progress would have been much better, which is not the case. Mercedes motorsport boss, Toto Wolff, has strongly refuted any involvement in the recent rumours surrounding the cost cap breaches. He pointed out that if they had the budget to do so, they would be making significant changes to their car, which is not the case at the moment. He said, the cost cap is a real constraint now because you cannot just go for a B-spec car. On the other side, Ferrari has been working hard to narrow the gap to Red Bull over the past year, but budget constraints have hindered their efforts. Team principal Frederic Vasseur acknowledged that while they have made some significant changes to the car, there are still things they wanted to do but couldn't due to budget cap limitations. Vasseur also added some comments. He said, the main driver of this is the cost cap, that you can't do a new project as was probably the case a couple of years ago. It means that you have to adapt your project to the situation, and in these conditions I think we did a decent step forward. Federico Lodi, FIA Single-Seater Financial Regulations Director, talked about, where are we at now with the 2023 process? The process of reviewing the cost cap submissions is meticulous and thorough. Each team submits a comprehensive 150-200-page document by March 31st, which includes detailed financial information. The first month after the deadline is dedicated to an in-depth review of these submissions, looking for any areas that might require further analysis. During this period, the FIA identifies follow-up questions and requests additional documentation from the teams, if necessary. By early May, the FIA begins conducting on-site audits at the team's facilities to verify the accuracy and completeness of their submissions. This involves visiting each team one by one and closely examining their financial records. The entire process takes several months, with the FIA spending extensive time on the road to ensure that each team's financial compliance with the cost cap regulations is thoroughly assessed and validated. The goal is to ensure fairness and transparency in the financial management of all teams in Formula One. So, what are your thoughts on this current F1 cost cap situation? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay up to date on everything Formula One.